Good evening. My name is Eric Sparks, and this is my proposal speech. In America, 18-year-olds can vote, they can operate a motor vehicle, pay taxes, get married, become a legal guardian, own a gun, fight and die in a foreign country, and even become governor of the great state of Rhode Island. Yeah, it's the smallest state in America, but being a governor is still a big deal. So, one could easily argue that one or many of those bears way more responsibility than drinking alcohol. I could probably agree with that. But until you pass America's arbitrary drinking age line, which happens to be the highest in the world, cracking open a cold one is off limits. Alcohol is ever present in today's American society. Television viewers are constantly bombarded with advertisements promoting its consumption. Social events rarely take place without their attendees drinking some alcoholic beverage or another. And it's true. You go to a party or a social event, there's going to be alcohol. If there are people over the age of 21, there will be alcohol, whether it be provided by the event itself or whether it be people sneaking it in or bringing it in. It's going to happen. People are going to be drinking. That's a fact. However, young people in America are told by society that they are not allowed to participate in the common social activity of drinking until they reach the age of 21. Thus, when they find ways around this stipulation, as most of us do, and are most of us guilty of, young men and women often engage in irresponsible drinking. Ultimately, the most effective way to cure this social imperfection is to lower the minimum legal drinking age and to begin educating young men and young women about responsible alcohol use sooner rather than later. Now, some of you might think that's absolutely bogus, but as I go on, you'll begin to understand more and more where I'm coming from. Most of you are either at or near the current legal drinking age of 21. I would say most of us either at it or above it. Being 23 years old, obviously above it. Undoubtedly, each of you has been affected by the minimum drinking age in one way or another. Whether you've been turned away from a bar or compelled to partake in clandestine drinking practices. You have all been impacted by this age restriction. All of us. Every single one of us. Guaranteed. With all that being said, I would like to say good evening to you, to all of you, whoever may be watching this. My name is Eric Sparks. I too have felt the impact of the age restriction on alcohol consumption. For example, I have been confined in my ability to cultivate my love for craft beers. Who doesn't love a nice beer? I have researched the laws of Florida extensively in search of a way around these rules, but I've been unsuccessful. When I was nearing my 21st birthday is when I really started to, enjoy researching all this information, trying to find a way around it. I'm turning my focus to advocating for the reduction of drinking age for the sake of the future generations. This evening, I will discuss three things. 1, the current legal drinking age. 2, the effect that this drinking age has upon American social norms. And 3, the potential benefits of a lower drinking age. So, the drinking age started in America when the government decided to pass the Minimum Drinking Age Act of 1984. So what they wanted to do is this was kind of a method for the federal government to control the states. All powers not explicitly delegated to the federal government automatically goes to the states. So, for example, anything that happens inside the states is going to be dealt with inside the states unless it has to do with the federal government itself. So this was a way of the federal government kind of, putting every single state to their own and letting them deal with all these problems on their own instead of having to go to the federal government every single time. It adds up real quick. So, according to this act, the federal government can withhold 10% of the federal funding for highways from states that do not prohibit people under age 21 from buying or publicly possessing any alcoholic beverage. While every state abides by this standard, state laws vary on specifics about possession and expectations to the law, such as allowing people under 21 to drink with their parents. So as I said, this act was to give every state kind of an outline of how they go about this. And every state had their decision to make if they want to do things differently. Whether, like I said, whether it be, being able to drink with your parents if you are under 21 or, publicly possessing any alcoholic beverages. So, also, to date, there's been seven states that have filed bills to lower the age from 21 to 18. And that is according to Barrett Seaman from Binge. Now you understand the current U.S. drinking age and how it came to be what it is. I will explain the effect that it has upon American social norms. So, drinking age effect on American social norms. Alcohol is basically like a forbidden fruit. It's the one thing that, everyone's going to do once they're able to do it. But it's the one thing that everyone is always saying, oh, don't drink too much. Don't drink and drive. Don't do this drunk. Don't do this drunk. Blah, blah, blah. And, that being said, drinking is always taking place usually, not always, I apologize, for younger, like I said, younger kids under 21. Drinking, it's going to happen. The drinking's going to happen. It's, how it's going to happen. It's going to take place in clandestine settings. Very secret, very, small, held together by a few people. And, the drinking age effect is, these teens are not taught alcohol responsibility at the right age. So being able to drink at 21, you don't know anything about alcohol or how to deal with it until you turn 21. So that being said, I believe that changing the drinking age to 18 would, obviously you're taking a chance because you're allowing less responsible and less mature kids start drinking at a younger age. But they're also getting a chance to learn and experience and, make mistakes. And from there, kind of learn on their own type thing. And that'll help throughout the process. Instead of having, 21-year-olds, right when they turn 21, getting blackout drunk, and it's just madness. That's not good. That's not what we want here in America. Also, the drinking age effect has an effect on resulting in very high rates of alcohol abuse and addiction. Binge drinking is increasingly prevalent. Youth continue to drink more than ever before now. This is because in America, recently it seems that everyone kind of wants to be a rebel. So, once you're in high school, the parties start, the drinking and alcohol is going to be around. It's whether or not people want to drink or not. But for the most part, people are going to drink because that's what the social norm is to do. That's what everyone else is doing. So why am I not going to do it? You know what I'm saying? So that, I apologize, that was according to Henry Wester, Dying to Drink, an Emotional Appeal. That's an emotional appeal. Another effect is that it has an exorbitant rate of alcoholism in the U.S. It's, like I said, binge drinking has become way more increasingly prevalent. And, like I said, once they reach that age of 21, they just go crazy. It's just, like I said, madness. So, since the current policy in the U.S. has been ineffective at creating more responsible drinkers, it is obvious that a modification is needed, whatever it may be. I will now elaborate upon the potential benefits of a lower drinking age. So, potential benefits of a lower drinking age, for example, social attitudes toward alcohol consumption would shift, and young people will learn to use alcohol responsibly. So the first thing I said, social attitudes toward alcohol consumptions would shift. What that basically means is that because it's starting at such a lower age, I know it's only 3 years, but it makes a huge difference. Because it's starting at a lower age, it's not talked up as much as it is if you're 21, because you graduate high school as an 18-year-old. Most people do. And once you graduate high school, all you're waiting for is to turn 21 so you can start drinking. And by the time you turn 21, you're more than halfway through college. Most of us are. And by the time you're halfway through college, you've already broken the drinking age multiple times because, who are you kidding? What college student is not going to be drinking out on their campus? You know what I'm saying? So it would just shift the way people look at consuming alcohol as a whole. I guess you could say, well, younger kids, not, older, whatnot. But us younger generation, it would help shift the, how we drink and how we consume it. And it's not all about, oh, let's get blacked out, whatnot. Like, let's have a few drinks, let's enjoy ourselves, let's see how we can do this, make fun out of it. And not make it just, like I said before, absolute madness. And as I said earlier today, it'll help the young people learn to use alcohol responsibility. Starting at a younger age, you're going to be experiencing more things at a younger age because you're going to make more mistakes. And when you make more mistakes, you learn from those mistakes. When you learn from those mistakes, you can use those lessons that you've learned and, apply them later on in life. Whatever it may be, you can do that with anything in life, especially with drinking them, especially with this type of situation, with this topic in itself. I really do believe, and I'm going to stay on that fact that I do believe that lowering the drinking age would actually help. It sounds like craziness. How would that help? It's already crazy as it is, drinking at 21. So, all over the world, it's 15, 16, 18, 17, 19, whatever it may be. Here in America, it's 21. And we've obviously seen a lot of problems from that. Whether it may be underage drinking or not. So, with all this being said, I will conclude. In conclusion, the current law setting the minimum drinking age of 21 has failed in its efforts to keep America's young people safe from the dangerous aspects of alcohol consumption. In addition to being ineffective, the law impinges upon the right of individuals to partake in activities which are otherwise persuasive in today's American and social culture. Though those who are 18 years old are considered adults in nearly all facets of the law, including voting rights and the ability to join the military, they are still treated as minors, which doesn't make sense. You can join the military, you can get married, like I said, you can become governor of a state, Rhode Island, and you're still a minor? You still can't have a beer? Unbelievable. To me, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. The lines do not connect. If an 18-year-old is old enough to make those important decisions, like I said, then he or she is certainly old enough to decide whether or not he or she is ready to consume alcohol. When we turn 18, we become adults. When we become adults, we are able to make our own choices legally. So why can't we legally say we're ready to drink alcohol? My question to the government himself. Because of the current laws, young men and women are compelled to furtively experiment with alcohol, causing lots of bad results, negative results. Rather than beginning their drinking experiences under the supervision of responsible adults like they would at age 18, still living at home, still about to graduate from high school, not yet in college, living by themselves and experiencing it on their own, the young people do the drinking in secret, not because they want to, but because the laws and the culture they have created refuse to allow them to explore their natural curiosities. So, by lowering the drinking age, the U.S. can begin to raise more responsible drinkers who will not be as prone to alcohol abuse or addiction as today's Americans are. With all this being said, I would like to thank you so much for your time, and I hope you could take what I said today into consideration, and that maybe, one day, it will make a difference when deciding to lower the drinking age. Thank you so much.